Hey. All right. As I stick this in my pocket. Hey. This podcast was brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill out drink. That's right. Sit back, relax, and drink some corporate beers in your corporate chairs. And let's talk about the fights. This is a bit of a weird one, and I'm actually leaving the boxing early from Jupiter's Casino tonight. The date is... I don't know. It's May. Oh God, what is the date? I'm going to sort this out. I'm just in the undercover car park of Jupiter's Casino. The date is... I think I'd have this sorted. May 20th, 2016. This is Drew Cruck. Welcome to the Gold Coast vs. Drew Cruck podcast show. Let's go. That's enough of that. Yeah, it's a bit weird, bit self-indulgent tonight, but firstly, I feel like every time I see a little boxing event or something, I just want to get it on tape because no doubt the fighters who fought tonight won't sort of have much of a wrap-up in any sort of papers nowadays. So just quickly, this is what happened tonight. Second fight of the night. I missed the names of they weren't on the card, the original fighters. They're only 14-year-old kids and really great. Hey, it was a Jamie Meyer production tonight at Jupiter's Casino. In the first fight, I missed their names. A couple of young 14-year-old dudes. But the second fight, Josh Marr defeated Tom Taylor. And man, there was 10 fights in the card, and I can barely remember that fight. I'm sorry, boys. But I will say this. All night, bar the last one, the fights were great. I've been to a lot of these fights, and I've been disappointed more than a few times, you know. There's something about the boxing tonight that was really good, and everyone really enjoyed it, you know. So it made me pretty happy that the boxing they showed tonight. Hey, all these guys are pros. Like, there's never a dud fighter. There are a lot of corporate bouts. So what I'm saying here is the first corporate bout was Josh Marr and Tom Taylor, and then there was a tie. But the second fight in the corporate bouts was a tie between Darren Keogh and Devin Rakow. I do remember that fight. It was another good battle, and oh man, I can't even recall it because I didn't have a note. You know, if I had proper notes, I would have really done it. So I feel like I'm just saying it for these boys. Third fight of the night, corporate bout was Rahio. What a great name. He defeated Simon Kabbalah. I almost remember what they look like. Actually, no, I do remember because I took a piss beside Ra in the toilet 2 fights before that. And I went, hey, you fighting? He goes, yeah, I'm fighting a couple of guys, so a couple of fights. So I said, good luck, man. So I feel like I helped him do something there. Fourth fight. This was pretty hard. This was actually really hard to watch. Really big heavyweight boys. Ali Brown knocked out Raul Briggs. Now this was pretty tough to watch. Raul Briggs, these were two big lads, and you know when you just sort of feel like something's going to happen. So Raul, I felt, and if he was to hear this, I'd bet he'd agree. In the first round, it seemed like one of the very first hits he got, even like a bit of a jab, it sort of upset him and he got a little bit rocked. You could just sort of funnily see a little step in his game, and then Ali Brown, he's such a powerhouse. He gave him a real big right from memory, and completely rocked Raul Briggs. They stood him up, and the crowd started going a bit nuts. Definitely at our table, they thought the fight should have been stopped then and there, but they got Raul Briggs back on his feet. And and within, say, 10 or 15 seconds, he was knocked out. No, listen to my voice. This is the voice of someone who drank only a few 4X Golds at a table with 10 dudes, and they were all smashing into it, like Coronas, bang, bang, bang. And then someone started buying Sambuca shots. Sambuca shots? Such a pussy now. I don't even drink. I hate it when I go to corporate things and I'm the one that's driving home every time. But everyone knows that's good. So, yeah, I'm actually jogging with the Fight Like a Pro guys tomorrow. We're doing the stair run at Currumbin Alley, which is mentally hard. Like, it's just the most craziest. We're stuck in traffic here. I'm stuck in traffic trying to get out of the casino. So this pretty sucks right here. But yeah, Currumbin Alley. For 20 minutes, they time how many times you can go up and down the steps without touching the railings. I think because I'm a little bit shorter and 172 centimeters and about 76 kilograms, I do pretty good. My record's 10 there, which is probably in the top 5% without floating my own boat. It's only because I'm light and shorter, but it works, yeah. Listen to my voice. Anyway, so the next fight, more big heavyweights. Pimmy Thompson defeated Jack Priest, heavyweights. Jack Priest, apparently they worked together, but they didn't look like friends at all. Pimmy Thompson, an Islander lad. This was a great fight, a really good. I believe it was 4 rounds. It might have been 3, but just when you thought Pimmy had these huge hands, he everything he threw, the crowd went, oh. Whereas Jack Priest had some. His hands just weren't as heavy, but he was always going forward, and he showed a lot of heart. And in the last round, he just kept coming forward, and with every hit, he'd be like, and the crowd just lapped it up. He had a lot of friends there, and it was a really good fight to watch, and it was sort of a motivating sort of deal. So, he did get beaten by Pimmy, but he had a lot of support. Jack Priest did. So. Then the next fight was some younger sort of guys. Luke Tupe was in an exhibition match. It was a tie between Luke Tupe and Jesse Travers. Yeah, I remember this fight. It was probably one of the best fights of the night. It was so even, and I want to say Luke Tupe had a lot of clean shots. He had really good accuracy. He got a lot of body shots in. So did Jesse Travers now and then. But when you hear a big like slap, 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 and you see it, there's nothing like it. So that was an exhibition. The next fight, here we go, was Blake Travers from Bow Desert, and he defeated Zoran Cassidy. This is a boring podcast. I don't care because I'm stuck in traffic, so whatever. Blake Travers from Bow Desert defeated Zoran Cassidy from Townsville in a tie. Oh no, it was a tie. So sorry about that. It was a middleweight fight, and this fight was good. I've seen Blake Travers fight before, and I was really impressed with him before. Towards the last 2 rounds, he started to lock the arms of Zoran Cassidy, and he really let the crowd down. Every time I watch a boxing fight, and there's points to be scored, and here's where I get all sort of confused with how boxing works now with the popularity of UFC. Because you may be leading on points, and if the last couple of rounds you start to lock the arms up of your guy just to see the end of the rounds, the crowd starts to go, in this case, they awarded a try to Blake Travers, but definitely the crowd was on Zoran Cassidy's side. Now, the next fight, which, hey, by the way, these aren't, oh, God. I'm so confused. God. I've had a big day at the sign shop, I swear to God. Yeah, not corporate fights, these are professional fights. In a lightweight, and this was interesting, Afikat Coad from Brisbane defeated James Katz from the Gold Coast in a lightweight bout. And what happened is that Afikat, I think he's from Thailand originally. James Katz has this funny style. Like he's a really close range fighter that got so many hits on Afikat Coad, and they sort of got locked into this little head down. It really bored the crowd, is what I'm trying to say, because they showed no personality. Because you couldn't see their faces. There, Afikat was the guy standing back, giving some space, but James Katz has his head down and his face in the gloves. It just wails these shots, lots of uppercuts and lots of small, powerful, fast hits. But the problem is, they were both sort of short sort of lads, and at the end of the day, no one cared. It was the most noticeable thing of the night, where the crowd completely switched off, because Afikat tried to get the crowd going. He'd sort of turn around in between rounds and sort of try and rile the crowd up, but the job was done. James, you can't tell him because it's the way he fights, but there's not a lot of personality there. Every now and then, when you get a boxer that stands up, or any sort of fighter that stands up, you can see their face completely. As a viewer, you kind of go, yep, that he's got to win. Just the way he sort of does it. So that was really noticeable. And by the way, I'm no boxing expert at all. Again, but I just like recording this stuff. Here we go. What happened next? Now, Spencer Foster from the Gold Coast knocked out Luke Wright from Ipswich. I think this happened in the second round. Two huge, tall, fit blokes. Like, they'd have to be about 190 centimetres, real lean and fit and strong lads, and it looked like a good fight. And Luke, I believe he got a little rocked on his feet at one stage. He went through the ropes on his back. It was real exciting. It was, all of a sudden, there was some big stand-up fighters, and it was, the crowd was, right into it again. And some drama happened early, and then it was sort of sad to see Luke Wright cop a couple of big hits and end up on his bum, so to speak, in the corner, just sort of a bit dazed, and he was devastated because he was fighting good. He just got caught with some big bangers, from a big man. So it was a bit of a win for the Gold Coast. From memory, I always balls this bit up. Who's his trainer? His trainer's always there. Oh, please go easy on me. Why do I think Chippy every time? What's his name? Oh, he's going to hate me. Stiffy. No, Chippy? From Chippy's gym? What the hell's his name? This is a shit podcast. I'm not even going to release this, I swear to God. I know it's live right now, but... Okay, then the big... just realised it's live. The big heavyweight title fight of the night, or the big fight of the night, was between Bob Miravic and... I didn't write it down. Something like... You're such an asshole, Drew. Silicon or something. Such an asshole. Anyway, the crowd hated it. Big Bob Miravic, 55 professional fights. From memory, 46. He won 46 of those, and Jesus Christ, Drew.